Hello everyone, welcome back. It's the last day of my road trip and I'm looking a bit scruffy. Okay, need a shave? That's okay. Hopefully I'll be home later today. And yeah, otherwise I just have one sort of last stack of books here to share with you. After I crossed over the US border back into Canada, I kind of took my sweet time, stayed with some friends in Vernon, did some hikes. So I think some of these books are from Vernon, some are from Kamloops. But yeah. First up in the stack is one I actually already went ahead and read, and that is Steinbeck's Burning Bright. Okay, now the form of this piece of literature is a form that Steinbeck was trying to pioneer. It is the I don't know exactly what he calls it, like a novella drama combination. It's like half play, like there's acts and scenes, but it's not all dialogue. There's like quite a bit of non-dialogue prose, like description and things like that. So some critics have been not so happy with it because it doesn't translate well to the stage, which makes sense. If Steinbeck wanted to write a play, he just would have written a play, not this weird chimera combination. Some critics also critique it because it's the message is too forceful or too obvious, and I certainly, having read it, the message is very clear and obvious, but I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, you know? Some novels just have like a thesis that they're trying to put forward, and I don't think that's a shortcoming. So, yeah, this was quite good. I think I rated it 5 stars actually, but I'm not sure I want to give a review of it yet, just because I think it bears rereading. Anyways, the concept is that there's this dude, and he loves this girl, and she loves him back. I don't know if they're married. I think they're married. And she loves him so much. Well, sorry, there's a key detail. He's sterile, but doesn't want to face that fact. And so she loves him so much that she goes and like sleeps with another guy, reluctantly, in order to give him a child. But she lies to him and says that it's his, and he believes it because he wants to, and doesn't want to face the fact that he can't have kids. And the novella, or novel play thing that Steinbeck has invented is kind of like an exploration of his reaction to finding out the kid's not his. Anyways, don't want to spoil too much of it. But yeah, you could easily read it in one sitting. Highly recommend. Okay, next up we have a trilogy. And I got it all in the kind of Penguin Classics here, so happy about having a matching set. And that is The Fortunes of Richard Mahoney by Henry Handel Richardson. Now this is, I believe, early 20th century, and it's from Australia, which is fun. So most literature that I read is from either America or Europe, but Australia, how about it? Anyways, the first up is Australia Felix. Sorry, one more biographical note on our author. Henry, actually not a person. Her real name is Ethel. She used a pen name. Why? Not too sure. I guess it could be because of gender issues, but then again, not every reason why an author takes a pen name is because of discrimination. Sometimes there's other reasons, so I don't want to assume anything. But anyways, Ethel's trilogy here, it is kind of well known and kind of prized as being one of Australia's best, like, sort of classic works. Sorry, I guess I'll show them to you. This is Australia Felix here. Second up is The Way Home. I don't know if you can see that in the light. It's kind of, the shadow's kind of bad. And then Ultima Thule is the last one. And I think she actually won some sort of like a prize, like an Australian gold medal of something or other. Sorry, I don't remember what it's called. Being attacked by flies again. But yeah, the novel is or trilogy, I guess, is semi-autobiographical. It's about the life of her father. And I think some details are changed to make it fictional, but it's mostly true. And just kind of follows his life and the unraveling of his fortune and his eventual death. He has neurosyphilis and kind of has early onset dementia and kind of doesn't go insane, I guess, but yeah, kind of loses it. So looking forward to digging into that eventually. I think that'll be kind of a longer read because each of these volumes are probably, 350 pages, so kind of a commitment. Next up, we have a classic from Aldous Huxley. Apparently, according to Wikipedia, it's one of his lesser-known works, but it is one of his best, and it has been adapted to film, and that is The Devils of Loudun. Okay, now this is written in novel form, but it's actually based, I think, entirely off historical fact, and the premise is that there's this bishop or some sort of a cardinal or some sort of magistrate in the Catholic Church who is has a small parish in this small French city of Loudun in the 17th century, and allegedly makes a pact with Satan, and then all of the nuns in the nearby nunnery or convent all become possessed and go insane. And so there's this big investigation, and he's tried multiple times, eventually found guilty. He never admits to anything, but yeah, it's kind of dramatic, if I may say so. So anyways, sounds pretty interesting, and I like Huxley, so definitely we'll give that a go. Next up, we have a C.S. Lewis deep cut. Okay, everyone loves Mr. Lewis, and that is Letters to an American Lady, and it's kind of in an old paperback here, so happy to find this. He never met her, and he exchanged letters with her for 13 years, so I'm not really sure why. Maybe she was important to him for some reason. Not really too sure. Because if you're a famous author, you get tons of letters. So how do you decide who to maintain a correspondence with? I'm not sure. But anyways, I think this is valuable just as like random biographical information about Lewis. And of course, he's always dropping wisdom no matter what he's writing. So kind of if you're a Lewis fan, this is a good thing to collect for sure. Next up, okay, we got another very famous classic, and that is Isaac Asimov's Foundation series. Now, the original was just 3 books, a trilogy. He's since added 2 sequels and 2 prequels to make a total of, 7 books. I was very happy to find this set because it's like older paperback, and it has these really cool illustrations on the front. Sorry, the shadow's pretty bad. I'll show them each. Kind of a matching set. I love matching sets. All the pages are waxed red too. That's cool. What's the premise of Foundation? Basically, there's this giant galactic empire in the future, and it's nearing its end. It's kind of collapsing, and this mathematician guy, who's like also kind of a sociologist, kind of predicts the cycle of civilization. And so apparently, according to his calculations, there's going to be like 30,000 years of decrepitude and dark ages, basically. And so he like uses his calculus to change the course of history, so it's only like 1,000 years of dark ages instead of 30,000. And then the series, I think, follows humanity's exploits during these like dark technological dark ages. That's my best understanding of it, but I haven't read it yet, and I probably angered some people if I butchered that because it's very famous, and I know there's a lot of diehard Asimov fans out there. Biographically, Isaac Asimov is one of the big 3 Golden Age sci-fi authors alongside Heinlein and Arthur C. Clarke. And he also wrote I, Robot, which I think is a pretty famous movie. I think, is Will Smith in that one? I don't really watch a lot of movies. Sorry, guys. Anyways, moving on, we have next up Washington Irving, The Legend of the Sleepy Hollow and Other Stories. Okay, here it is. I got this one for $1. A Canadian dollar, not an American dollar. And Washington Irving, an American guy born in New York, kind of one of the early American short story writer, novelists, and very, very famous primarily for Legend of the Sleepy Hollow and Rip Van Winkle. Okay, Rip Van Winkle, some dude drinks Dutch beer and then falls asleep in the Catskill Mountains for 20 years, wakes up, he totally missed the American Revolution, and it's kind of a humorous short story. And then Legend of the Sleepy Hollow is kind of like a creepy, like Halloween style theme, and I'm sure there's lots of variations of it. I think this is the original one, and it's the legend of the Headless Horseman. And some guy tells the story of the Headless Horseman, who's like a soldier from some war, I don't remember which, and he gets his head blown off with a cannonball, and he's looking for his head. And that's like his whole shtick, is he's creeping around looking for his head, and then this guy gets rejected by this girl, and he's like going home at night, and he gets creeped on by the creeper, Sleepy Hollow, and he gets killed by him, and that's how it goes. So that's kind of sad. But anyways, Legend of the Sleepy Hollow, Washington Irving. 2 more here. Okay, we've got Leo Tolstoy. His very first novel, The Cossacks. It also includes an early sketch called The Raid. I'm not really sure too much about that. But The Cossacks, honestly, it sounds maybe that's not true. I was going to say it sounds like a similar type of plot to Brothers Karamazov, but I guess not really. Anyways, you have this soldier guy who is young, squanders half his fortune, kind of wheeling and dealing, and then ends up disenfranchised, goes to live in a rural Cossack village and kind of lives the rural life, kind of hanging out with the old men and hunting, and I think Tolstoy uses the story kind of as a vehicle to talk about human psychology and meaning of life and philosophy and things like that. So, yeah, looking forward to checking that out. I think some other like famous people consider this to be their favorite of his works, which is A Tall Order, because he wrote, I think every one of his books is kind of a heavy hitter. So, anyway. Last up, we have Gabriel Garcia Marquez, Chronicle of a Death Foretold. So I recently finished reading 100 Years of Solitude, and I think there's a couple cheeky references to that book in this one, so it was published after 100 Years of Solitude. And the premise is that there is a set of twins that commit a murder, and everyone knows that the guy's going to get murdered, and no one stops it. That's why it's a death foretold, because everyone can kind of predict that it's going to happen. But no one stops it. I'm not sure why. I guess you got to read to find out. And it is semi-historical, so it's based on true facts, which, when it comes to a murder story, always kind of creepy when it's based on a true story. Anyways, that is all for today. Not sure when I'll see you next, but I'll try to waste some money on some more books sometime soon so I can say hi. Otherwise, stay tuned, and I'll see you soon.